is going on? How is everybody doing tonight? My name is Suge, and obviously you can tell my co-host is a little different tonight.
It's a little.
Uh, just a little. My co-host, Colin Morrison, currently could not make it. He has a lot going on with work tonight, so I had to call to the pitch hitter, Mr. Hendo, Ravens Gatekeeper on YouTube. My good friend, my good pal. How are you doing today, sir?
Yes, sir. I am well. Thank you for having me. This will be a lovely show, and it'll probably be my third stream this week. As we all know, not too fond of it, but you got to do what you got to do, homie. And I'm glad to be here. I'm glad you invited me. I hope I'm not sloppy seconds, and let's get it popping.
I mean, because the person I was originally trying to invite on isn't really a Ravens fan, so there's no
I,
point in having him on.
I
You
know,
know what I'm saying?
I know.
And so I was like, who could I get? And I know that some of the Ravens community just don't like your takes, so I was like, might as well have someone I enjoy. I'll bring on my buddy Hendo because you know what, we're both hated by the Ravens community, fan base, whatever you want to call them, a conspiracy. If you know, you know.
If you know, you
Um,
know.
yeah. So and shout out to obviously my favorite podcast, Lunch Break Hot Take. Hello, sir. How
What's
you
going
doing?
on,
Um, Mr. Buck himself, Brandon Buckingham. How you doing today, sir? Hope you're having a great day.
Brandon, Jose, Mr. J?
Mr. J. Hendo and Suge. Who would have thought?
Who
Not
would have thought?
us.
Not
Not us.
us. Not us.
So yeah. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk some Ravens football. We're gonna talk some Steelers football. Maybe if you guys have any questions, throw them in the chat. We'll get to them in a little bit. Obviously, if you see the pin comment, I do have a stream element. So if you'd like to support the show, I greatly appreciate it. It's gonna help do some cool things, get some stuff done. I have a lot of stuff on the way for the show, and we will get there when we get there. Hopefully, whenever I get a message back, who knows? Maybe Bed Bath and Beyond. I don't know. Maybe if I have enough time, we'll see. But if you'd like to support the show, right there, all the links for Hendo, myself, Colin are all in the comments, or sorry, in the description of the video. So check those out. And yeah, we're gonna talk some football. Even though it is preseason, it's starting to get exciting, starting to rev up. We only have three preseason season games this year, Hendo, which is really weird. Or do you like that? Do you want more games in the season, less in the preseason, or more preseason games, less in the season?
I would like neither. I would like less preseason games because I don't like injuries. I don't like seeing people get hurt, regardless if it's my team or for somebody else's team. I'm just tired of the injuries. If somebody gets hurt, right or wrong, I would like it to mean something. As far as more games in the regular season, I think it's long enough as is, and I don't want to kind of dilute the product because once they start adding more games, they're going to start adding more playoff teams, and they already have that 7 team now, which I think is a little bit much, and I just don't want them to stretch it out any more than it already is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know who loves more games is Jose from Lunch Break Hot Take. He loves baseball. Have you ever heard him talk about baseball? He loves 162 games seasons. So I think he would love 20 games in the NFL. I'm just saying, that he loves. He tells me all the time. He's like, I love the fact that the baseball season has 162 games in it. I sit down and watch every game of the Orioles.
No.
So
So my
yeah,
question to you is, if we did go to a 20-game season, where would we add those games? Would we bring the season a little bit earlier or make the season a little bit later?
um, the season starts now. What, September
11th.
11th?
Well, I'm sorry. I think the I think that's
Oh,
the
wait,
Sunday game.
yeah, those are Sunday games, but the season starts that Thursday, so the
That
week
Thursday.
of September 11th. Um, I think you would have to start the season early. I think training camp would start end of July or mid July, maybe, and then even June, maybe, and then you would have preseason games possibly end of July, early August, and the season would start maybe the last 2 weeks of August, so you can fit two games extra there. and then you would have 4, 10, 4, 14. Yeah, you could probably squeeze them in there depending on. But you had everyone has to get a bye.
Wouldn't you get 2 buys? When they go back to 2 buys?
Maybe I don't know.
I mean, 20
I
games.
don't want, but yeah, 20 games. 20 games is a lot. I like 16. I don't know. We're 17 now, right?
17.
Yeah, I don't like 17. I don't like odd numbers.
Yeah, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah. You know, that's why I stopped having kids at 4. I couldn't go 3. I can't go 5. If I have 5, I have to go to 6. I don't like odd numbers. You know.
Okay.
This is how I roll. Odd numbers are fine. Brandon Buck says 20, hell no. Think of the player safety. I think 17 is fine. I mean,
Well, listen.
That's your opinion, Buck.
No, and he is 100% correct. 20 games is a little bit too much, and I never really thought of it until I was reading an article in a newspaper one day, and in the article it was I think it was a defensive lineman, and he was talking about how he trains in the off season, and he was like, "Listen, we train. Most of us nowadays train all year long, but we only play in 15-second increments. If you think about it, plays last around about 15, 20 seconds." He was like, all we put our bodies through, literally, if we play a full game, we're totally only playing 5 minutes a game. And that takes enough out of us. So if you think 5 minutes can take enough out of a grown man, what do you think that's going to happen over 20 games? Like, they're going to break down. And then you have to factor in the playoff games as well. Like, it's not going to be a good product.
Wow, Brandon Buck is coming at you. Newspaper, Hendo? How old are you?
It was a magazine. Okay, and it was a couple years
I
ago.
don't think they've heard of a magazine.
Yes, okay. It was a publication in a book that was mailed to my house.
Do you remember having to get a TV guide to see when you
yes.
see if your team was going to play in your region?
Yes,
you were going to get it on TV.
So I mean, we did back. You know, as far as football was concerned, we didn't have to, because back then we only got the Redskins games.
Oh, in Baltimore.
Yeah,
it's Maryland, correct?
It's Baltimore, Maryland. Yes.
Okay.
And sometimes we would get the Steelers game, so it wasn't really a need. It was pretty much Redskins all the time, so it was like there's no need to watch football. But yes, we had a TV guide, and then when cable came about, we had that one channel that went in an hour and a half increments that scrolled up and down the screen and let you know what was coming on. So you would literally have to wait until it got up and up to the channel that you wanted. So yes, I'm old.
And then we got NFL ticket, which I don't even know if that was what it's called, because you used to have to go to the bars to try to watch your game, and then NFL ticket, you could watch it at home,
right?
You know, Mr. J, magazines in a waiting area.
No, Mr. J. It was a magazine that I paid a subscription for, and it was mailed to my house monthly. It was actually Men's Health magazine, and they mailed it to my house monthly.
That's why Hendo looks like he's 36, and I look like I'm 48. Because he read health magazines. I didn't. I read the other magazines. Anyway, did you mail him a check? I remember having to send checks for bills. That good God, times have changed. You just hook it up to your bank, or you send it in like 2 seconds. Pay a whole bill, $1,000 bill, car payment, house payment. I pay my rent online now. It's crazy with the technology.
Listen, my first apartment that I got on my own, I think, was $360 a month.
I hate you right now.
This was back in the day, bro.
$360? Are you kidding me?
Yes, this is in the 90s.
That's a telephone bill now.
It's a gas and electric bill.
That's a telephone bill. They used to send me the bills, but I never paid them.
So listen, what was it? The publishers? No, it was something where you got 12 CDs for a penny.
I remember where you could get 12 CDs, and then you had to pay for one though. You had to pay one full price, but you got the other ones for free.
You got no.
Yeah.
Well, back then you paid 1 penny and you got 12 free CDs, but you had to buy, I think, 5 more within a 3-year period.
So yeah, something like that. But I never paid them. I would just get to see it.
They never got paid.
They never got paid. But I would have CDs. God, we're talking about CDs. When's the last time you used a CD?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's probably the last time the Ravens. No.
What? Excuse me.
I was gonna say.
Say it.
I was gonna say the last time the Ravens won a Super Bowl in 2010. It's probably
It was 2012.
Or whatever.
I mean, sorry, 2012. It was 2012.
Yeah, it was 2012.
2012.
I'm sorry. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, when was the last time you won a Super Bowl? 2008.
2008. Yeah.
Yeah. So who's more current, you or I?
Or is that are you going to tell me next that you guys have been the better franchise?
Listen. I'm not here to debate which franchise is better. I'm here to talk football. Everybody out there knows who the better franchise is. Everybody knows who has the franchise quarterback and who has the better coach.
Kenny Pickett. Absolutely, you're absolutely right, Hendo.
No, our third string is better than your first round pick.
Is he though? Because I'm telling you right now, they ain't talking about the Ravens quarterback on NFL Network.
Actually, they are.
Oh yeah,
Tyler Huntley. No, Tyler Huntley.
Oh no, let's get into that. They're guaranteed $40 million. Is it guaranteed $40 million? Something like that.
What? Who's guaranteed?
I thought that was the report I saw, that if they signed Tyler Huntley.
No. So what the report was? The report was for all of those fans that we have that felt like it might be, or prognosticators that felt like it would be a lot easier to sign Tyler Huntley to a deal for $40 million than to sign Lamar for $280.
What's his guarantee though? What's his
guarantee? He doesn't have a guarantee. He was.
I thought there was okay.
No, they were giving you just alternatives to Lamar.
Okay.
It was options. It wasn't anything.
I thought I saw.
No, you didn't.
A guarantee.
Yep, and thank you, Jose. Suge is falling for the propaganda.
I thought the article said it was guaranteed. That's why I didn't read into it. I don't care.
Bum scoop Suge.
Oh, here we go.
So listen, Suge. Listen, Suge. Listen. You are a highly intelligent individual, and on top of that,
that's the first time you've ever said anything nice to me.
It's your show. And on top of that, you know surprisingly a lot about Baltimore Ravens football. Do you really think
it bothers the shit out of me that I know so much about Baltimore Ravens football? It irritates me. Yes, it does.
So my question to you is, do you really think with all that's going on, they would sign Lamar Jackson's backup before they would sign him? Like, come on now, bro.
Really. Despite him.
If they wanted him to leave?
No, I don't think if they wanted to leave, but I think they would make this kind of play of, oh well, we have someone that can play backup and probably do the same things you can do. And why are you surprised? Okay, I'm not a damn Raven fan, asshole.
You are.
I'm trying not to cuss on the show, and Bronny brings out the worst in me. We're just talking about this backstage. Bronny brings the worst out of me.
That's not what we were talking about. You were talking about that's your homeboy. Anyway, to the contrary of what you just said, there is one thing that Tyler Huntley cannot do that Lamar can do, and that is win games.
No, for sure. But we've seen teams before do this where they say, oh, well, we got someone that's serviceable just like you, and we can get them cheaper. So, yeah, you can go ahead. You're nothing without us, or you won't be the same. And then they go on and do great things, and that backup or that person they sign is dog crap.
But
so we've seen that. We've seen that before. I don't think the Ravens will do it.
Right. There are two things. There are two factors.
You don't think they would try to throw that out there to get Lamar? Because like you said, they're trying to sign Lamar. He's not biting. From the news that you have told me, from what I've heard on Lunch Break Hot Take, the numbers are not close. So what if the Ravens are getting desperate? Because we've talked about it before the season. After the season starts, he's done talking contract.
Right. So to kind of unbox this, the Baltimore Ravens are extremely cheap when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. Now, there was a report that I heard today that they offered Lamar more than Kyler Murray got. How much more? I don't know. Now, Is it true? It's kind of hard to say, but only one side could technically have leaked this information, and that's the Baltimore Ravens, because they want to put everything on Lamar and kind of force his hand into something. But I don't think he's going to do it. Now, signing Tyler Huntley isn't going to happen, because if they want to get, even if they franchise tag Lamar, we are too cheap to pay a backup 40 mil and then pay Lamar 40, 35, 40 mil for one season. Like, it's not going to happen. It's kind of an either or thing. We feel like once that we have, since we have Lamar, that we can sign any backup. Like, we can put anybody in the system. Like I said, Anthony Brown, he looked pretty good. And if Tyler Huntley actually commands, like, if there's enough talk about him, they'll trade him. They love draft picks. The Baltimore Ravens love draft picks more than they love anything else within this franchise.
Gotcha. Now, kind of going to the franchise tag, kind of going to reports that people have been talking about Lamar, and I know we're going way off of what we talked about the show was going to be,
It's okay.
but one of the things we have heard from people is saying Lamar should sit out. Now, I have seen people react to this negatively, and I've seen people act to this positively. I have seen tweets of people saying if he does this, he's not being a role model, things like that. And in the same breath, I go, well, you're the same people that's like you want this player to take less money. Like I see it all the time from certain franchises and certain fans.
Mhm.
They want their players to take less money, but then they want them to be out on the field giving more than
Uh-huh.
110%.
Right.
Now, I don't care and this is maybe a bad opinion of mine or whatever. If you don't like the fact that people get paid millions of dollars to play a game, then don't go. If we all just stopped going, the NFL would fall apart and they couldn't play these players a million dollars to play a game. We choose to go watch these players play and invest money. So we're the ones that are responsible for that. Therefore, if you complain about it, then don't watch it. But at the same time, don't complain about it if you're still going to the stadium spending six, seven, $800 to
Right.
watch these players play. Like you're choosing to do this, therefore you can't really say, "Well, I don't know why a player would take less." Why should he? If you're going to continue to watch him play and fork out money to watch him play, why should he take less? And it's a craft. Bottom line is the NFL. Not everybody can do it because if everybody could, I'd be in the NFL.
Right.
You be in the NFL. Bronny be in the NFL. Buck would be in the NFL. We would all be in the NFL because we could do it. Not everybody could do it. Remember, these are the best players around the world. That's why they're in the NFL. Even the scrubs. You remember who's the guy that was on the Bulls? The white Mamba. I forgot his name.
Oh,
Brian
Scarabini or something like
Scalabrine.
that.
He went to a gym and people talk so much crap. You suck. Da da da. He played regular people and destroyed them.
Right.
Destroyed them. These NFL players, they might not make the NFL, but they're better than anybody else, and they're better than you any day of the week.
But
So stop complaining.
listen, they will never stop complaining. First of all, people will never stop being spectators of sports, because most men, they live vicariously through these players. They
Yeah.
live that what if I'd have went to this school? What if I'd have stayed? What if I had the backing? They also are not going to stop watching because they need something to complain about. Sports gives people an outlet to let out certain frustrations. It gives them joy, it gives them pain, it gives them all of these emotions that they live by. So they'll never stop watching. Now, as far as having someone take less money, I forgot what I was watching the other day, but they spoke about how they said Lamar should take less money because Tom Brady took less money. And because he took less money, they could build certain things around him. I mean, which is true. Like, he took less money, but he had endorsements out the ass that he made money from. Now, the question after that was asked, okay, he took less money, but does this organization who's asking their player to take less money have a Robert Kraft as an owner? Do they have a Bill Belichick as a head coach? If they don't, they need to sit down and shut up, because there's other pieces outside of him not taking the money. Lamar had a very low salary cap hit for the last 4 years, and especially being the last pick in the first round. Like, his salary was dumb low, and we didn't do anything. Like, we didn't take advantage of that. And even if he did take a low deal now, what are they going to do? Sign more defensive players?
Yeah, and right now, I mean, but also too, It's not like you're signing like re-signing a scrub. Dude won
Right.
MVP. One MVP. Like you have to pay him. I've never seen a team not like pay an MVP. Like like when's the last time that's happened? Where they maybe not maybe down the years down the line. Lamar's what 24, 25?
25.
25 years old, won the MVP, and you don't want to pay him. What's the reason?
Well, in my opinion, the reason is they don't believe in him. They don't believe in Lamar as a passer. So what happens is they want to have him run this college offense where they're going to run him into the ground. And they know just throughout history that it's not sustainable. If he wants a 5-year deal, Lamar can not be the leading passer. He cannot be the leading rusher for this team and sustain this high level of ability for the next 5 years. So they don't want to put all that money into him knowing that in about 3 to 4 years, they're going to have to go out and look for another quarterback. Now, if they change their philosophy and actually saw if that he could be the passer that they wanted him to be, or all that we know he can be, it would be a different story.
Got you. And I mean, and it doesn't help. I think and I talked about with this with Colin last week. I don't. I think the Hollywood Brown trade, as much as people say it's not that big of a deal, I think that was a big deal to me outside looking in. He was one of your best receivers, and right now your receiving core is very unknown.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what they're going to be able to do, and to me that I kind of to me I think that off puts Lamar. Like it puts him off. Like wait a minute, you're not even giving me anything to work with. Now, granted, like Colin says, these wide receivers could be studs. We don't know.
Right.
I know Jose. I know you like to make fun of some of the receivers like Prochet and everything like that. But what if he comes out and he has a great year? What if Bateman comes out and has a great year? You know what? Then things are look a little different. The running backs show up and you have a serviceable back for your
Mm-hmm.
team and everything. Then yeah, things are a little bit different. But if they don't produce, I think that's a little off-putting to Lamar because he's looking at another. He can look at another situation and say, I got receivers over there I can throw to. I like you said, I don't have to run for my life. I got someone I can trust and throw the ball to. If Baltimore had drafted a receiver, not going to name his name, that is out there saying right now going throw me the ball,
Right.
and he's a rookie, and they would have drafted someone like that to the Ravens who's out there, throwing me the ball, then maybe that gives incentive to Lamar to be like, nope, I want to stay here because I think I can do something. But when you're not showing that commitment, it's almost like how in basketball, and I hate to bring him up, Kobe, when he wanted players
You don't hate
and
to.
I hate you. And the Lakers went and got Pau Gasol, and then they won 2 championships. It's the
Right.
same thing where if you get Lamar receivers, I believe he'll say, okay, you know what? I want to be in Baltimore.
Yeah.
But when you're not doing that, you're not showing that commitment. It's a little off-putting to me. That's just outside looking in. Maybe you can
Right.
shed some light differently.
So for me personally, I get where Colin's coming from very slightly. Um, you don't know what you you don't know what you're getting with these young receivers. Granted, are they talented? Can they move that needle? We don't know. But like you said, if they can't, this is another year we wasted. And we all know most teams have a certain window to win a Super Bowl or actually be in contention for a Super Bowl. So we've already wasted the 2 seasons since Lamar's MVP. We didn't give him the pieces since then. We added we added a first round wide receiver from 2019. We've added a couple of others, but that wasn't enough. And now you're saying, okay, we traded one of those away, your favorite one, the one that stretches the defense, the one that teams paid attention to deep, and now we're going to give you a bunch of slot guys and underneath guys and hope that Mark Andrews can take away that coverage. Now, we may get lucky with Isaiah Likely. Like he might be all that he's showing us in the preseason, but is that going to be enough? Like, is that enough to say, you know what, come playoff time, we we can kind of circumvent not being able to run the ball. A lot of people say, we're going to run the ball, we're going to be historic, we're going to make it to a Super Bowl. But as we saw in that loss to Tennessee in 2019, they could run the ball and they could throw it. That's why they beat us, because when push came to shove, they needed to throw the ball, they threw it. We can't do that.
Yeah, and not even not even with the playoffs. The AFC North.
just in
If
general.
the way I think the Steelers can play, I think, and like I said, I have told you, I think the Ravens um, were very under underperforming because of the injuries. And if they come back the way they are, and the Bengals, that's a deep division. A lot of people are only saying the Bengals and everybody else, and maybe the Ravens. They ain't talking about the Steelers. They're not talking about the Browns. And let's not forget about the Browns. Even though their quarterback they just paid millions of dollars to is not going to play, they still have a top defense. They still have Nick Chubb. They may have not have the wide receivers. They still have a decent offensive line.
I
So
mean, they
these
got
are
Amari Cooper.
four, and they have Amari Cooper. So this Browns team is very much a team that can pop off some wins. I think all four teams are being very uh, underestimated in right now because I think all four teams are actually very good, and it just depends on little pieces. Can the Steelers quarterback play? Can the Ravens receivers play? Can the quarterback for the Browns play? Can the Bengals do what they did last year? So that's to me where the differences are going to come this season with all four teams are these little differences because if the Steelers have a quarterback, and we can win 11, 12 games, we're a playoff team. If the Ravens wide receivers show up and their running back show up and their defensive back is as good as we're talking about, they can make the playoffs. Can the Bengals, if they just do what they did last year, they can make the playoffs. If somehow the Browns quarterback just shows up and plays and their defense dominates, we know you're a Ravens fan. You ain't got to have a great quarterback, to win. I mean, it could, now things have kind of changed, so you kind of need a decent quarterback, but a defense could still dominate. It could still do something like that. So yeah, and Brandon, there is a lot of what ifs, but that's sports though. What if?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
that's sports.
Listen, the Cleveland Browns to me, people used to say quite often that the Cleveland Browns were cursed. And I was like, man, get out of here. But now I just think that the Cleveland Browns are just this great tragedy. It's like they got all this hope with signing Deshaun Watson. Like that whole city, that whole fan base was up in arms thinking, listen, we may go to a Super Bowl this year. And then the bottom falls out. I mean, yes, they have a defense, but they still have Kevin Stefanski as the head coach. I'm not sold on him. I don't think that a lot of times he makes the right moves. But like you said, any year, any given Sunday, any team can win. Now, for me, as far as Pittsburgh is concerned, I'm not even worried about the quarterback position. I'm more worried about your offensive line. Now, if your offensive line
that was a big thing this week. Sorry,
if your
I didn't
offensive
cut you off.
no, you're good. If your offensive line can hold up, I think that's better because listen, I know it's the preseason, and I know I'm one to talk about. Listen, don't get too high, too low on performances. But throughout 2 games of the preseason, the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterbacks have 6 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. And I think the last 2 games, Pickett has only missed on 3 passes. Even Mason Rudolph, he's been highly accurate, as well as Trubisky. He just hasn't thrown as many touchdowns as the other two. But I think that schematically, offensively, you'll be fine because you're going to lean on the running game. If that offensive line holds up and your defensive backfield holds up, you'll be good. Cincinnati, listen, I think Cincinnati right now is the cream of the crop in this division.
Yeah.
They did what they did last year without an offensive line. They went out and signed the guard from the Patriots. They went out and signed Lyle Collins from the Cowboys. They signed a guy from the Buccaneers. Like they solidified that offensive line. They had problems in the defensive backfield. They drafted Justice Hill's brother. I mean, they did things to upgrade. They lost CJ Uzama and brought in Hayden Hurst. Like we're familiar with Hayden Hurst. Like he isn't the best tight end, but listen, as a number 4 option, he can get things done. Now with us, it all depends on the moves we make and the offensive philosophy shift that we have on offense and defense. Like if Mike McDonald comes in and he brings his own variation of this defense and makes little changes, we'll be fine. Now, once we get the ball back to the offense, will we be able to score? Because we all know everything is going through Lamar, Bateman, and Andrews. I'm not certain if Gus Edwards is going to be back anytime this year. We don't know what's going to happen with J.K. Dobbins. The run game, I'm a little concerned with it because our offensive line is a little bit in shambles. If Ronnie Stanley doesn't come back healthy, I don't know because Jawan James looks horrible. Like he looks pretty bad out there. Um, the left guard position, we got Ben Powers leading for left guard. That's not a good sign to me. Like this
Yeah.
dude hasn't really done too much, and they put him at center. I think he played a little bit of center yesterday. So what is that saying about Linderbaum? Like we have too many questions right now with our offensive line to kind of go forward and say, yeah, we might win a division, but we just might. It all depends on help with us because we all know last year, 8-3, with all the injuries that we had, leading the conference until the bottom fell out. So it's up for grabs, and anybody can win it, in my opinion. But Cincinnati is the front runner.
Oh yeah,
To
for sure. You can. I mean, you would be a fool to say Cincinnati isn't the front runner. I mean, and like you said, they did it without an offensive line. So there's really you can't take that away from them until someone takes it away from them. If Pittsburgh or the Ravens or the Browns takes it away from them, that's when you can say, okay, they're not. Because we've been the Ravens and the Steelers have been the cream of the crop of the AFC North for the last 20 years. So every once in a while Cincinnati has done something. The year before, I think the Browns made the wild card, so they didn't win the division. So
and they beat the Steelers.
Yeah, and thank you for reminding me.
And they beat the Steelers.
I appreciate it. Thank you for reminding me.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker the Saber Mayfield, who is going to take the Carolina Panthers to the playoffs. Remember that.
I believe so.
Remember that.
I mean, I believe so. All the talents in the AFC.
And shout out to the homie Mike, Off the Record podcast. Bengals got to prove to me they could do it again. I mean, we'll see.
I mean, listen, Mike. I agree. They have to prove that they can do it again. They have to prove that there is no Super Bowl hangover. But the Baltimore Ravens have to prove that they can stay healthy. And sad as it may be, we just sans 2019, we have not been a healthy team. Just injuries just keep creeping up on us for some reason.
Yeah, injuries have not helped you at all. You guys have been one of the worst injured teams, and I know, and I go at Ravens fans sometimes because they'll say, "Oh, well, that's the reason why things this and that," but it is part of the game. The Steelers didn't get no help when Ben broke his elbow. Nobody said, "Oh, well, it's injuries. It's okay." We still finished 8-8. But we didn't get that from Ravens fans. Ravens fans were happy that Ben hurt himself.
We were not.
So, Mr. J, I just want 9 wins. Nothing crazy like the playoffs. I think Carolina's going to the playoffs. Personally, I think they're going to the playoffs. To be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I think they will. I concur.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But so in this last preseason game, what did you like? What didn't you like? Or let's start. What did you like
in the preseason? I like the quarterback play. Like Tyler Huntley, he outdid himself. Like he showed that he had the skill that Lamar talked about when he was on the street. Lamar was like, "Listen, we need to get this guy," and he showed that he might be capable of taking that next step if something happens with Lamar, God forbid, that he can continue leading his team to wins, getting us to the playoffs. The third string Anthony Brown, like he had some impressive throws. Like it was a couple of slants in there that he threw that was on the money, and I think he threw an interception, but I think the tight end ran a wrong route. Other than that, I think the quarterback play was great. I have to eat a little bit of humble pie, I guess. Travis Jones, he had great push in the pocket. Like he has quickness that I didn't think that he had. And Isaiah Likely, like, listen, he ate 8 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown and a half. Like he ate, and whether you like him or not, I have to give him the utmost credit. He finds the holes in the zones. Like he plays like a veteran. He finds those holes. He sits down. He gets the yards. He makes tough catches. Now, if we can get him to block, we'll be good with that. I think somebody called said we had a little CMC of our own on the team. Mr. Webb, who caught that nice little touchdown. That was cool. But yeah,
there you go, right there.
Riley Webb, the new CMC. Like he was cool. I don't put too much stock into playing against second or third stringers, but they did well. I'm concerned about the run game. We're not getting any push from the offensive line. I know everybody's not healthy. I know everybody's not playing. I'm not happy with Justice Hill. Like I know he seems to be a fan favorite, but he's gonna get cut. Like he runs hard, but he just can't make it happen. He's just not doing it. Former third round Brandon Stevens, he looked lost out there. Like I know they drafted him to play safety, moved him to corner. He's not doing it. Tyree Phillips, I keep saying this. Tyree Phillips is not a tackle. He's proven he's not a guard. He had 3 penalties yesterday. Like it's too soon to do that. Um, Thank you, Mike. Justice shows nothing. I'm glad y'all finally seeing this. And also, my last take is I'm really starting to sour on Tylen Wallace. Like, I know I make jokes. I know, you know, I wasn't sold on him, but everybody kept saying, listen, Tylen Wallace is going to be the team's number two. He can't even stay healthy. Like, the best ability is availability, and he's not showing it. This was the time for him to say, you know what? Let me show you what I can do. These 2 catches a year ago were a fluke. I'm going to come in and kind of etch my niche into this team and show what I can do. But he showed nothing. Now, things may change. I know we have one more game to play. I don't know if he's going to play against those stupid teams from down the road. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But overall, the the game yesterday, it gave me a little bit more optimism on thinking what we can do going forward. I think that with the right pieces, I think one more wide receiver, not Demarcus Robinson, one more wide receiver, and maybe trade for an offensive lineman just in case. I think we might be there to make that push, and then it's just up to John Harbaugh to actually lead this team to where we know we can be.
Yeah, for sure. And I think um, I think right now you guys are the second best team in the AFC North. As much as we joke and you know crack about it, I think you
Mhm.
guys are, and I think I actually agree. I agree with you when it comes to yeah, they need to get another wide receiver. I know Colin's kind of against it and just wants to let the rookies and the second year players do their thing. I
Mhm.
understand where he's coming from. I think we had this conversation though, where even though Mark Andrews is probably the second best tight end, could be the first, could be the third, depending on where you want to rank him. Um, you can't put all that onto him. He's not a he's a tight end.
Okay.
You're asking him to block, and especially like you said, if the line is not as good as it's supposed to be, you're going to need him to stay in the block to help protect Lamar. So he can't always go out for passes. So, you need a wide receiver. Now, me and Colin did talk about this last week. There isn't really a lot out there. There's T.Y. Hilton. You guys just signed Robinson, correct?
Yeah.
Well,
He has about the same amount of yards as Prochet last year, so and he
I
played with
mean,
Patrick Mahomes, so yeah.
I mean, and apparently scouts are saying Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson are the same player, and they're both bad. But who knows?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do? But I just think that we need to find something to kind of get us over that hump. There are free agents out there, but people forget you can still trade. Like you
Yeah.
can still trade for somebody. Like if there's somebody that you want, or I'm pretty sure the Ravens are waiting until Tuesday possibly because Tuesday for tomorrow at 4 p.m. teams have to get down to 80 people on their roster. And yes, Brodney, Demarcus Robinson has more yards than our entire receiving core combined.
Yeah, and that's why I've been seeing a lot of people are happy with this move. Is it going to work out? I don't know.
But
We'll see.
he only has 1,600 yards. Should
No,
Justin Jefferson had that last year alone. So and he played with Patrick Mahomes. Like I cannot stress this enough. He played with Patrick Mahomes. So when somebody says, "Oh, he got 500 yards," oh, that's great. No, you played in a passing offense. Andy Reid does not like to run the ball. He runs it if he has to, but he does not like to run the ball. So you're passing more than anyone else. and you have
Would you be
arguably
more comfortable? Would you be more comfortable? You had like 8 or 9.
yes,
Okay.
you have arguably the best quarterback in the league throwing the ball, and you mustered 264 yards. Like
But then people will come at you and say, "Well, they had Tyreek Hill, they had Kelsey. Who else do they have on that team?"
they had Byron Pringle, Miko Hardman. Like they yes, they have other people there. Byron Pringle had 500 and some yards last year. He jumped over Demarcus Robinson. So what is that saying? Like he Robinson got cut by the Raiders.
The Raiders, yeah.
And the Raiders have like 7 wide receivers no one has ever heard of. You telling me you couldn't make an impact there?
We'll see. If you were drafted number 4 overall, everybody you play against needs to be like a street free agent because you are supposed to be that good. Okay, Mr. J. That's definitely how things work. But we went over 1,000 yards. But he went over 1,000 yards as a rookie. I promise you, likely won't come close. Saying Demarcus is better wide receiver is the best wide receiver in Baltimore.
Is that what you're saying, Brodney? You're saying DeMarcus is better than Bateman?
Don't let some of these Raven fans hear you say that.
I mean, he didn't say it. I'm asking. He didn't necessarily come out his mouth and say it. But I mean, I want for clarification. Are you saying that DeMarcus run back was Robinson is better than Rashad Bateman? That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Mr. J with Andrews and the Ravens offense scheme is in no way hell. No way hell no. That is why saying Kyle Pitts lit. More like even more watered down Powerade. Probably read that all wrong.
Powerade is already watered down.
I mean, I like Powerade.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, depends.
You know.
He needs to get about 10 times more athletic before he can be that, Jay. Ludwig, I think. Yeah, I mean, again, and I was talking to you before we got on the show, and I just want to say this.
Yes, sir.
I have been hanging out with a lot of Ravens fans lately. A lot.
All day, every day.
And I think the group that I hang out with is more critical of Ravens than most fans. And I think it bothers a lot of Ravens fans. But sometimes I see some of the takes that Ravens fans are giving, and I'm just shaking my head. Like you said, some people believe the Ravens have the best wide receiver core. They truly believe in their heart of heart. Nope, Prochet, Bateman, are the best. And that the Ravens are Super Bowl bound, and no, there's not
at all, not even close
at all. But some of the, and you and Bronny Jose, even though he's not a Ravens fan, will point out a lot of the problems. And there's just
he's a deep down undercover Ravens fan. Don't
let
him fool you. He is.
He really is. And yet he won't talk about them, but then he'll talk about them at great length sometimes. Depends what mood you get him. Ronnie's a very moody person. Depends what kind of mood you get him in. You get him in a good mood, he'll talk about the Ravens. But going back to what I was saying, the Ravens fans, like, they believe right now they have what it takes, and maybe they do. We don't know. Maybe the season start and they do.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're pointing all this stuff out, and you're giving all these examples, and you're giving the facts, and you're saying what you're saying,
right?
It's tough. It's tough. I think it's a tough pill to swallow. That maybe you're right. They're wasting the years of Lamar Jackson. Maybe it's the coach. Maybe it's the offensive coordinator. Maybe it's the GM. Some people just don't want to face that because they feel that they're in a position to win a Super Bowl or to go deep in the playoffs. But it's hard to say in preseason. It's more going to come up in the season. And like you said, if things go bad, then what's the excuse now? What are Ravens fans gonna say? because
Lamar didn't play well enough.
yeah, and then when he leaves, you're gonna be all pissed off.
Yeah, listen, this fan base is delusional. I went to sleep and I woke up this morning, and all I kept seeing was Isaiah Likely is going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year after 2 preseason games.
Too.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. But Kyle Hamilton did not play his best these 2 games. I don't hear them saying he's going to be a bust. Like, where's the balance? Like, it's 2 games. That doesn't mean Kyle Hamilton's going to be a bad player, and it doesn't mean Isaiah Likely is going to be this superstar. Like, there may be some happy median. Like, it may meet somewhere in the middle. They may be great, they may be not. But Offensive Rookie of the Year, come on now. But I'm glad they have high hopes for him.
Yeah, but the problem with having high hopes is when they don't meet those expectations.
But
then you're frustrated and irritated. But why would you put those kind of expectations on somebody?
But see, that's the thing about being a Ravens fan. We like being an underdog. We don't like.
I heard you say that.
We don't
like you say that.
This is part of the reason why we don't sign certain people. This is why when you see us go out and sign free agents, we never sign the best one. We'll sign the third, fourth, sometimes maybe even the second one, but we never go out and get the top tier player. We never get that consensus number one player, because if you do, now you have expectation, and we don't like expectation. If you watch our games and we're expected to win, we lose. We like being an underdog. We like that feeling of, okay, if we lose, we were supposed to. So now I feel better about my team. Now I don't have to say anything bad about them because we were expected to lose that game. We don't like being favorites.
I heard you say that on Sunday.
Yeah.
Driving home on your channel. It was your channel. I don't even know why I was. Yeah, you said it on your channel. Duh. I for some reason I thought it was on D Weezy's channel. I don't know why I thought that right now. I was like, I was on D's channel. No, it was on your channel. You had everybody on except me because I wasn't invited. Thanks.
You were vacationing.
Doesn't matter. I still should have been invited. Shout out to Darius. What's going on, Darius? He is the number 2 receiver according to most fan bases.
Of the fan base.
Sorry, I skipped the word there. Of the fan base.
Yeah, he jumped Bateman. Like, we're not even worried about Bateman anymore. Now it's just Andrews and Likely. And they are going to pass receive us to a Super Bowl title.
But what if it happens? Then
wonderful. Wonderful. I will do a whole stream on everything that the Ravens do right, and started off by saying Isaiah Likely was the greatest draft pick in NFL history. But, revisionist history will show me the path of we're going to fumble the bag unless we make some wholesale changes. Just like in 2012, we didn't get to where we wanted to go until we made some changes. Until we said, listen, this philosophy ain't working. There needs to be a shift. And we pivoted to someone else, and that took us to where we needed to go. But I can't say, because I don't, preseason is very vanilla, and they're just doing certain things. They're not showing their hand as far as what they're doing. So until we physically see them get into a game and start seeing game plans and in-game adjustments and certain things like that, we won't know. Like, I won't know. So I really can't say here or there. I'm hoping. I was optimistic about some of the things that I saw yesterday. Like, some of the plays that they called yesterday, I was like, okay, that's pretty good. But sometimes we get into a funk where Greg Roman calls certain plays for Tyler Huntley that he doesn't call for Lamar. He calls a totally different game plan. I need to see him kind of get it together and say, look, this is what's best for the team. Let's go in with some scripted plays. Let's not just fly off the cuff and do whatever when I feel like it. And let me dip back into 2012 and see what we did with the San Francisco 49ers.
There you go. All right. So, we'll get back to the Ravens in a minute.
What are you talking about?
So, I want to talk about the Steelers, obviously, because I am a Steelers fan, and
yes,
they are 2-0 in the in the preseason. I was going to say playoffs, but no, preseason. And look, I'm going to say this, and it is a Ravens fan, and I'm not going to attack all Ravens fans, but goddamn. Y'all haven't beaten us in 2 years. Y'all have not done anything that we haven't done in the playoffs in the last couple of years. Why do y'all keep wanting to come at us? We're not bugging you. We're literally not. I think Steeler fans. I think the Steelers are okay. Let's see what we can do, and they're trying to do what they can do. We ain't sitting here calling out the Ravens. We don't even play you to the end of the season. That which is great because I hope we end your season.
Ooh.
But goddamn, leave us the hell alone, okay? Because y'all are so jealous, and not you, Hendo, but some of you Ravens fans are so damn jealous of the Steelers. Y'all want to sit here and pick on every damn thing the Steelers do wrong. They played Jacksonville, and yes, the first quarter, our offensive line did not look good. Wasn't great. It happens. Right now. This is the second year, I think, and we signed some offensive linemen. So this is not even the offensive line from last year, where Najee Harris still got over 1,100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let us be. We don't even play until to damn near the end of the season. Why y'all got to keep coming at us? Like, it just pisses me off. It's like every time I look at Twitter, someone's got to say something.
Then why go to Twitter?
Because you know what? I like drama. You know me. I love drama.
You do. Okay? But so, okay, listen, I'm gonna put it to you like this. This is how I see it. I think that you have this contingent of Ravens fans that are trying to keep the rivalry alive, because even with the networks, they're not pushing the Ravens Steelers rivalry like they used to. It's not a primetime game.
It's not that rivalry anymore. It's
right,
a rivalry. It's a rivalry
to us.
That rivalry.
Exactly. And I think fans are trying to stoke that flame and keep it going, because for us, our rivalry is switching over to Cincinnati. Like I
think both teams are.
Right, but I just think that the Ravens fans, I think we hate the Steelers more than we hate the Bengals. So we're just trying to keep that going. That's why I think that they keep messing with Steelers fans. But like, we've accomplished pretty much the same things throughout the last 9 years.
There's because you bring up 10 years as we won a Super Bowl.
I said 9. That's why I said 9 years.
But it's like, okay, fine. Y'all were in the playoffs, or we were in the playoffs recently. You guys had a playoff win before a couple years ago. Y'all have an MVP that we can't do that. What are you laughing at? You're laughing at
Jose.
Yeah, that's what we're. But here's the thing, though. Like I just said, it hasn't really been a rivalry, and I'm not even talking about how we beat you guys the last 4 times. It's not about that. It's not that rivalry anymore. It's not whoever walks out of this game is probably going to win the AFC North. You know, whoever shows dominance in these games, it's probably going to be a Super Bowl front runner, or at least the AFC Championship front runner. It's not that anymore. We're both on this weird trajectory. Like, it's still a rivalry, but we're on this weird trajectory where we're just not. It's not the same like it was, you know. And it's like the Steelers. You know, they beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not a good team, and it's obviously, again, it's preseason. But that's the point of preseason. You're supposed to look at your team and say, okay, now we need to make an adjustment. Okay, our line didn't play good, you know, and we didn't rush well. We rushed for, and that's 24 yards. That's not good. I'm not gonna lie, that's not good. But also, too, who was rushing?
Najee didn't play. McFarland, I don't think he played.
McFarland rushed twice.
Did he?
Benny Snell rushed 3 times. Steve Sims Jr. rushed once. Like, nobody rushed over 3 times the whole game. So yeah, it's not gonna be. That's not good. But it's not. It wasn't a big enough sample size. When Najee Harris gets back there, let's see what happens. You know, and you know, I felt like I liked what, like you said. I will say this right now. I think Mason Rudolph is getting the raw end of the deal. I think Steelers have already decided that Mason Rudolph is either going to get traded or he's going to be the third QB, because he plays well. 17 of 21, 127 yards, 1 touchdown. He plays well, and ain't no love for him. It's either Trubisky or Pickett.
Over 200 yards in both games combined.
It's it's either one of those, and a lot of people are starting to say Pickett might get the job. I don't think so. I think it's going to be Mitch, and if he starts to flounder, then they'll throw Pickett in. But I think Mitch has that veteran in him. But Pickett's look good. I like what I've seen.
He's played well. He's played very well.
And people love to talk about little fingers. You know what? He's if as long as that's not a issue, I think he's going to do well. And the receiver core, I love what I'm seeing from our receiver core with the tight ends. With Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool. I love what I'm seeing from George Pickens. Austin is still hurt. He got hurt. He's still hurt. I like what I'm seeing from Gunner. I like it. And as far as like you said, if our defensive backfield can hold up, I feel like the front seven is good enough. If the back seven, the back defensive back can just play well enough, I think this defense will be good to help carry us, because I don't know what the offense is going to give us right now. I can't tell you. I think we have a good enough wide receiver core. I like what I'm seeing from our quarterbacks, and I think Najee's going to be a star this year. But it all depends on that offensive line, and if the offensive line can be healthy and can just keep our quarterback clean, keep positive yardage, then I think it'll relieve. Because I think one of the problems was, and I saw it in the KC playoff game, was our defense played great that first quarter and a half. We could not score. We got the ball like 3 and outs, a turnover, and then TJ Watt got that touchdown. Had our offense been able to score any of those times, I just feel like the game would have been different, and we couldn't score. And then KC just was the better team, and they finally said, okay, well, now we're going to just score on you. And by the halftime, it was pretty much done with. So I like what we're doing. I love what Tomlin had a press conference today, and he said, look, we talked to our offensive line, and we're going to fix things. That's what I love about Tomlin. I know a lot of Pittsburgh fans don't like how Tomlin talks. They don't like how he's that kind of coach. I love it. People are just whatever. It is what it is. But he said we're going to fix it. We're going to make adjustments, and moving forward, we're going to work hard. I like hearing that from my coach. Because that's all you can really do. Let's be honest. You could do all the metaphors. You could do all the
rah.
And all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's on you. If you want to improve, you need to show up and work harder. Maybe you need to change something systematically, and readjust things. And I think that's what Tomlin did, and I like that. So we'll see in the next game. We're playing Detroit. Obviously, I think we're playing Detroit. Yes, Detroit. I don't know if that's going to be enough of an indicator for me to feel like I feel good, but is it an indicator that week 1 I think we can beat the Bengals? I don't know. I'll have to see.
Do you know if you're playing your 3 quarterbacks? You know who's playing?
As far I know, I watched some of his press conference today, and Thomas said this week's gonna decide who week 1 starter is. So I'm assuming Mitch will start. He's gonna get some time. I think he'll probably maybe play three series, and then maybe go with Rudolph and then Pickett, depending. If Pickett is the number 2 quarterback right now, and he gets before Mason, then Mason's the 3rd QB, and then he might only get like maybe the 4th quarter. I think right now and it'll see how Mitch goes. So let's say they start Mitch and Mitch goes the whole 1st quarter. Right. If Mason goes, then it's an undecided decision. But if Pickett goes, I think Pickett then plays the 2nd, plays the 3rd, and then Mason will start the 4th, or mid through the 3rd, then Mason will start the 4th. So we'll see what happens. I think Mitch is gonna still be the starting QB, but we'll see what happens. Let's look at some of these comments. it's still a rivalry even in the down years. It's still a rivalry. I'm not saying it isn't a rivalry, but I just don't like your fans. That's all.
You do.
It's not that
You
putting
hang out with
players
them.
in. It's not that putting players in the dirt rivalry. Yeah, it's just not that right. Like remember when they did I think it was before the AFC Championship game, or it might have been before a regular season game. They were like interviewing all the players, and they were talking about. I think it was someone said, I think Heim Ward said he'd give him the bird if they saw him on the side of the road. Joey, um, oh my god, I can't. His name is blanking right now.
Did you say Heim Ward?
Heinz Ward, and then oh my god, what's his name? I can't even think of his name right now. Oh
Ed
my
Reed?
Jesus! No, I don't even know if they talked to Ed Reed. I think they might have talked to Ray Lewis. No.
Suggs?
Anyway, no, it's one of our guys. I think they talked to Suggs, but it was a promo, and it was just how they were talking about. Oh, I would leave him on the side of the road and things like that. And James Harrison was like, nope, I would make sure that I would have them at the game because I don't want excuses. I like that, and I like watching stuff like that. Preseason don't mean anything for Rudolph. They've seen him play in real games. Yes, they have. And the biggest thing is that Detroit game last year when he had an opportunity to take. Like, I think if he wins that Detroit game, I don't think Big Ben plays the rest of the season. If Rudolph had been able to win that Detroit game,
you really think they'd have benched him?
Ben wasn't playing well. Year? Ben wasn't playing well. Maybe not, but if you want to win games, that team wasn't bad. Like the team wasn't bad. Right. They weren't great, but they weren't bad. Like they still made the playoffs, but Ben couldn't throw down 10 yards down the field. So who was who if Mason would have won that game, who gives you the better opportunity to win the games? It's Mason.
Probably.
Realistically, what should have happened is Mason walks in that game and they beat him by 30 because Detroit was bad. And they beat him by 30, and then you just start Mason. But the fact that Mason struggled so bad and it was a tie, you just had to stick with Big Ben. There's no point of switching.
Right.
Mason already showed what he can do as a starter. Nothing. Yeah, exactly. That Detroit game changed. And Mason walked into that game and beat Detroit by 30. I think they say, you know what, Big Ben, I know it's your last year, but he gives us the opportunity to win games. And they probably beat Minnesota. They probably lose. I think they would have still lost to the Raiders. I don't know if the Raider game was before or after that, but they probably beat Minnesota and maybe another game. And they end up tying the Bengals, or winning another game and actually being ahead of the Bengals and winning the AFC North. But who knows? That's all speculation. What ifs, as Brandon was saying. Mason can piss off players much bigger than him, almost went toe to toe. He has grit. He does have grit. I'll give him that. The problem with Mason that people don't, and maybe Mason Jay's saying that jokingly. The problem with Mason is
he's not a winner.
I mean, he's over 500 in his record. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I think.
Oh, Derek.
But it's as much as people want to hate on Big Ben. Mm-hmm. You knew Big Ben was going to show up and play. You knew Big Ben was going to give it his all. Even though there was problems with his leadership, things like that on the field, he showed up and played every time. I don't see that in Mason. I don't see that. I just don't. I see it, Mitch, kind of. Kenny, I see it in. That's why Pittsburgh likes him. Pittsburgh are like, oh, we like this. You don't see that in Mitch. And Mitch already had a bad rap once. When they drafted him and Ben was pissed and things like that, and Steeler fans tend to side with their players. Like, oh, Ben doesn't like him. Well, yeah, then I don't like him. Right. Which is kind of dumb. And Rudolph is getting the raw end. He can use his online as protection. Sure. Tom out here breaking a fight, bringing kids together at training camps. Yeah, that was a big story. He broke up a fight and invited these kids to training camp. That's dope.
Somebody said that was a made up story. I don't know if that's true or not.
Was it? There's probably a Raven fan saying they made it up because they don't do anything like that. No chance they bench Ben
at all.
I think you gotta give whatever the best option to win the game. But they didn't have a chance to win a title, and they wouldn't embarrass Ben like that. Maybe
right. It's a legacy play. Like they could take him out. They know it's his last season.
Kenny Pickett has looked better anyway. Yeah, he has. He has looked better, and
But so the thing with him
it was made
is
up.
the thing with him is finding out what he can do when it gets cold. You know, he got those
Har-
baby hands.
Harps called the cops. Uh, he worked with the kids a lot and just invited them to camp. There was no fighting. Maybe maybe they were in StreamYard fighting. I see a lot of that.
You start a lot of that.
I do not. Um,
Yeah.
I don't start anything. I don't even know what you're talking about. But yeah, so who are you guys playing next week? I know you said
Washington.
it. Washington. Washington.
Them dudes down the street.
The dudes down the street. We're playing Detroit. So going into this final preseason game, what do you, Hendo, as a fan, want to see that will give you optimism? I think did I already ask this question?
No, you didn't.
Okay, I just want. I'm not that.
I just want to see offensive cohesiveness. I need to see the offensive line gelling. I need for them to actually find out who's going to play left guard. And for one of these wide receivers to step up and say, you know what, I know this is an opportunity for me. I'm going to take it and move forward with it, because everybody thought from last week that Shamar Bridges, he was already tabbed for the Ravens Ring of Honor off of that touchdown catch, and we didn't hear anything from him. So I need the offensive line to gel. I need one or two of these wide receivers to step up and do something. Um, I would like to see. I would like to see some starters. Some starters get one drive. I know Mike's like, we can't play anybody against Washington because that's when the season ending stuff happens. But I think we need to get some continuity together, because I've been saying all off season long, we have the Jets coming in week 1. And my biggest thing is, because the starters didn't play a game together, technically, that it's going to take them a game or two to kind of to get it right, to find out what works and what doesn't. And we might lose that game. Then we go into Miami, and you listen, defensively, they had our number last year, and now they've added offense. So I just think that we need to come together as a team, figure out who does what well, put it all together, and get that game plan ready.
Does Lamar start week 1?
Yes, Lamar starts week 1.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this question.
Oh, you meant 2020? You meant 2022?
Yeah, 2022.
Of course, he starts week 1. I mean,
okay,
he's a man of his word.
I'm gonna ask this question,
right.
And I'm gonna be in a dick by asking it, but do you think Lamar? Do you think Lamar is gonna? Is he gonna? Okay, you say he's gonna. You say he's gonna start.
Yes.
Okay. 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 I'll end it there. Okay.
No, ask the question.
No, that's fine.
This is what we listen. This is what we're here for.
No, because the question is coming. The way it's formulating in my brain and the way it's going to come out of my mouth.
I'll dissect it.
It's not going to sound. It's not going to seem right. So let me think about the question, and then I'll answer. I'll ask it in a second. But I just want to marinate because I want to get it correctly, because what I was thinking about started processing, and then you said something, and then it messed me up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Because you're always messing with my head.
I'm sorry. Psychological torture.
It is, especially with you. Do the Ravens lose week
1? Once again, that's a tough question. I'm going to listen. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it back to Jose. Yesterday, take it back to Jose. Yesterday, listen. I can give you a record prediction, but I'm going to predict that the Ravens win every game. I'm going to say that the Ravens are going to win every game. Now, yes, they win week 1, but I don't think that it's going to be this blowout that everybody thinks that it's going to be. Like, the Jets have some pieces. Like, they're putting something together. Have they gotten it together? I don't know. And then you have to take into account the Joe Flacco effect. Like, I'm pretty sure he's going to want to show up his team, his former team. He's going to want to come in and play well against us, and maybe even take hold of that job. Because listen, Zach Wilson isn't etched in stone as the number one in New York. If Joe Flacco plays well enough, he can keep this job for the whole year. And I think that they can actually do something. Like, Ravens fans, don't sleep on the AFC. I don't care how bad the team was. Look, Cincinnati's been horrible for the last 10 plus years. And last year they got the right pieces, turned it around, and went to a Super Bowl. So for now, I'm going to say yes. Week 1, we beat the Jets.
Okay. Do we see before game 1 Lamar signed?
No, we do not.
You don't think your team will get it done, huh?
No, I mean, if the reports are true that they offered him more than they offered Kyler Murray and he turned it down, he's looking for something specific. And I don't know if it's certain clauses in that contract or if it's guaranteed money. Now, if it's the guaranteed money portion of it, I think that that's going to be the sticking point to where the Ravens say, you know what, we value you, but we don't value you that much.
I mean, I think it was Jose, and I think you said it. If the Ravens are gonna run Lamar,
Mm-hmm.
then possibly he can get hurt. He wants guaranteed money. Why not? I mean, you don't like he doesn't want to get a contract and not be guaranteed. Gets hurt and he loses all that money. Like I just like
I mean,
obviously like you could do stuff. There's causes, things like that, but I think one he does want to get paid, and I think the second is he wants. He wants the guarantee. I think that because that's all we've heard. It's about the guaranteed money. Obviously, we see with Deshaun Watson, he got all that guaranteed. Even though that was a crazy deal and people are still losing their minds about it.
Right.
Lamar's again, he's an MVP, so why shouldn't he get guaranteed money?
And so, in essence, to me, a lot of times it's about respect. I don't care what you think about me from 4 or 5 years from now. I'm next in line. And we know in the NFL, when it comes to these quarterback deals, next in line gets paid. And theoretically, they always up the last person. Now, as far as Lamar getting hurt, he can get hurt tomorrow. Some team will sign Lamar for $55 million next year. It doesn't matter. I just think he wants the respect from this team that says, listen, I've put everything on the line for you. I'm your leading rusher. I'm your leading passer. I'm the most popular figure that you have in Baltimore right now. I bring this team revenue. I'm the reason that you get these primetime games. Compensate me like you would anyone else in any other business that brings in this type of revenue, that generates this type of fan base that you didn't have before I came. Compensate me. It's all about respect for a lot of athletes. And I think that's just what he wants. He just wants that respect. And we're not giving it to him right now.
Okay. My final question for you concerning the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Is John Harbaugh the coach at the end of the season?
Most definitely. Steve Bisciotti likes continuity. He said it himself. I don't like change. I don't like mixing things up. I don't like having pieces move around. So they're especially not going to do it throughout the season. Listen, it's been said once, it's been said 1,000 times. John Harbaugh's greatest attribute is self-preservation. He will fire his mother and father before he gets fired from that job this year. Now, if things go wrong and we miss the playoffs and we're just a terrible team, will he get let go at the end of the season? It's highly likely. But as far as making a move during the season, Steve Bisciotti will never do that.
Okay, so let me rephrase my question. Should John Harbaugh be the coach by the end of the season?
Hell no. What? Listen, I've I've wanted John Harbaugh fired since 2012. Like during the Super Bowl run, I was like, listen, I don't want this man as my head coach because you could see certain things coming. You could see that his ego is more important than the team. And I know a lot of fans don't like to hear this. Like his philosophy, he wants to run the ball, play smash mouth defense, and all this other stuff. That's cool, it's fine, it's dandy. But there comes a time when you have to do some self-evaluation. You have to self-scout yourself and say, look, this hasn't worked for us. What can we do differently to get better? What changes can we make to make us a better team and get us over that hump? Bringing in 50, 60-year-old offensive coordinators that nobody else wants isn't working. Rehiring the same defensive coordinators to run the same schemes isn't working. And I just think that his ego and his pride said, hey, listen, I won a Super Bowl. We did it my way, and it worked. So we're going to continue to do it my way until I have to go somewhere else. I think that he's rigid and he just doesn't have it in him to compromise. Like he has a doghouse. Like if you do something that he doesn't like, he'll sit you. Like he'll sit for 8 games, even if you're the most talented person at that position. Like he doesn't play rookies to a certain extent. That's why I don't understand why everybody's getting so high on Isaiah Likely. Harbaugh doesn't trust rookies. He doesn't play him that often. So come playoff time, let's see what he does with him. But I just need a more innovative coach. I need a coach that either knows offense or defense. So when something starts to flounder, he can give his input and make adjustments. John Harbaugh can't. Special teams, he's on point with it. But I hate to say it, you can find somebody to run a special teams.
It's not happening. He's the next Steelers head coach.
I'll take him. I'll take Brian Flores. And I guarantee you, we will be number one across the board in defense.
He is staying with Pittsburgh. I think he's taking over for Tomlin. I think Tomlin's got another year, maybe a year, 2 years in him. And I think Tomlin's gonna be like, I'm gonna go chill for a little bit. And Brian Flores is gonna get handed to Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think he's gonna do great things with it.
Well, maybe he wants Brian Flores in Carolina because Matt Rule just isn't getting it done.
That's true too. I think Brian would be so happy if they got Brian Flores. What did Brian Flores? How many years did he sign? Was it just a 1-year deal? I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. I think they signed him to a deal until the NFL can kind of work out whatever they have going on behind the scenes, because I think they're actively trying to get him a head coaching job to kind of lessen the blow on the lawsuit and say, listen, look, we're not racist. Look, we helped him get a head coaching job. So, he, regardless of how long his deal is, head coaching jobs trump certain assistant head coach contracts.
Oh, yeah.
And allow them to get out. Now, Tom is young, I don't think Brian Flores has that much time to wait to see when Tomlin's going to decide to shut it down.
I mean, but Tomlin may be young, but he's been coaching the Steelers since 07?
How old is Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll's like 72 years old.
Tomlin is really young.
Tomlin is what, 38?
He's like I think he's late 50s, early 60s.
No, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, he's not 38.
Mike Tomlin's not older than me.
So let's see. I think on the podcast he did, he's like in the 60s.
Bruh, stop it.
Yeah, he's 50 years old.
He's 50?
Yeah.
Okay. He's still not that old. He's not old at all. He still has 22 years to catch Pete Carroll.
Belichick. Yeah, no, he's not old at all. I just think I don't think Tomlin just does things to do things. I really believe he brought Brian Flores in for a reason.
He did. Because you bring in a coach with head coaching experience to help your team get better, and he knows defense, and he knows the Patriot way, and he knows Patriot tendencies. Why wouldn't you bring him in?
No. I get all that, but I'm saying above that, like it's either defensive coordinator or head coaching. That's to me.
Well, I mean, listen, who's the owner of the Steelers?
Rooney.
The Rooneys. Yeah. Right. And one could say they view diversity as highly important in the NFL. Would you say?
Yes.
Yes. So with that lawsuit and Brian Flores being blackballed, you know what I mean? Like they stepped in and was like, listen, he's available. Bring him in. We'll give him a shot. Like, we don't care. We know what he's saying is true. Bring him in. Now, would they like him to be the coach of Waiting? It's highly possible. But I just think that the NFL is working to get Brian Flores a head coaching job next year.
I get what you're saying, but let's take this a little deeper. And I know we're going off into a tangent now.
Be good.
Let's take this a little deeper. You don't think as good and like what Brian Flores finished that year with the Dolphins with the over 500 record? Am I correct?
And roundabout. I know they had a 7-game win streak. Like they were bad, then they just started winning and didn't stop. They might have.
So, Brian, you will correct me, but then why didn't any other teams offer him? Like, why? I don't see why. Like, unless they were told not to, which is strange.
Bruh, what you mean? He sued the NFL.
No, but then how could Pittsburgh get away with hiring him?
Because they're the Rooneys. Who's going to challenge the Rooneys? Like they're one of the founding families of football. Like who's going to
No,
who?
I get what you're saying. I agree. I don't think I'm trying to argue with it. I
And then
agree with everything you're saying.
and more
I'm just
important,
saying it's just like he's a great coach. Why would you not hire him?
because
Especially,
people have been blackballed, like Kaepernick. They can say all they want to. Certain people, when they go against the machine, they tell them, "Listen, don't you hire them. Don't you do this." Like they have private meetings. You listen. You have to remember this is the old boy network. I don't care how progressive these owners want to seem or the moves that they make or the charities that they donate to. It's still the old boy network. And when the head of the old boy says, "Listen, don't you hire that guy. Don't you bring him in here," the rest of them collectively are going to say, "You're right." And that's what ends up happening. Right. Exactly.
so do you think it was the Rooney's or was it Tomlin?
It may have been a little bit of both because I mean, listening to the interview with Mike Tomlin, he was just like, I didn't really know him or know the whole situation. And it was like I had a discussion with the owners. So he discussed it with the owners. So I think the owners brought it to him. Like, listen, bring him in here. I think the Rooneys are kind of like you. They like to do things sometimes to piss people off.
I love how you just took a shot at me. But thank you. Appreciate it. I don't do anything to piss anybody off. What are you talking about?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so can Robert Kraft. Yeah. Um yeah, we went off on a tangent there. I know I understand what I'm looking at it as like Brian Flores is a good young quarterback or sorry, good young coach. He had a what he was given in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And to me it's like well, but that's not true, D. Pittsburgh's been he's all over the place in Pittsburgh. They're interviewing him like crazy. Now is he talking about stuff? No. They're not talking about the lawsuit.
Not publicly.
Not publicly. Well,
So
he's not talking about it. He's
Right.
not talking about it. But
So
but the impact of him, the players, the way they've been talking about him, they're in love with Brian Flores.
listen,
They're like, oh, this guy has us prepared. We love working for him. Like that's what I like. And
So I
I'm just
want you-
thinking if you hear this, how did you not get him?
I want you to listen. I want you to look at it like this. First of all, you have not even a coach. You have a man that was told by the owner, "Listen, go out here and lose games, and I'll give you $100,000
I've done it.
for
I've done it in a
for
second.
every exactly." So for one, starting off, you have a man with integrity. Starting
Yes.
off, you got a man with integrity. He teaches integrity. He coaches integrity. Second of all, he took a team where he wanted to draft Justin Herbert. The team told him, "Nah, bruh, we don't need to hear what you got to say. We're taking Tua." You heard the slogan, "Tank for Tua." They gave him a quarterback that he did not want, that apparently wasn't ready to play. He just wasn't. And he took that team on a 7-game win streak, had them in contention for the playoffs. So not only do you have a man with great integrity, he's a good head coach. He knows how to bring up players. The players love him. They play hard for him. Now, he does they fleece him out of his job. And on the other hand, you look at somebody like Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels accepted a head coaching job with the Indianapolis Colts and quit on them. They had a press conference to announce him as the head coach. He didn't show up and was like, I'm calling in sick. I ain't never coming in." He gets a head coaching job. But you have a man with integrity that can coach and it's proven that he can coach, doesn't get an opportunity. When you have a guy that proves, "I don't know what the hell I'm doing, so I run."
Yeah.
It has to be more in the works other than, "Oh yeah, we just found somebody else that we liked."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure, 100% sure. And it sucks because how many teams right now could flourish under Brian Flores?
A lot.
Like how many teams could turn from a bad team or a mid team to a good playoff team to a great team? So I just think that you're right. I am glad he's with Pittsburgh because the way the players are talking about him, it's as if they like he's the second coming of Dick LeBeau. How much Dick LeBeau is loved in Pittsburgh, like that's how they're talking about him.
Listen, but he's respected.
Yeah.
Listen, Hall of Fame player, Hall of Fame coach. Dick LeBeau is respected. So if you're putting him on that pedestal, why would he not be a head coach?
That's why I say it would if Tomlin was to go, But seeing that he's only 50, like, good God, he has so many years ahead of him. And Pittsburgh don't fire coaches. We have 3 coaches, and I've been to 2 of them in my life. They don't fire coaches. So,
and why would you fire him? He hasn't had a losing season. Why would you fire him?
Yeah, hasn't had a losing season, and I mean, people will talk about the struggles in the playoffs, and I truly believe if it wasn't for the Patriots, Pittsburgh maybe would have won 1 or 2 more Super Bowls, but the Patriots and the Jaguars are those 2 teams
Listen,
beat us every time.
It's that old AFC Central rivalry. Like, for some reason, y'all just can't beat the Jags to save your lives.
And it ain't like they like barely beat us, like they blow us out. Ben decides to throw 5 picks in a game against them. I don't know why. But Ben's no longer a Steeler, so I ain't got to worry about that anymore. Shout out to the homie Shatter. It's all right, man. You can follow it on replay. And if you are watching, or if you are watching replay, make sure to leave a like. Make sure, if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe, and make sure to leave a comment. Let us know what you think, anything we're talking about here. I want to hear your opinion. I want to talk about it, get more discussion in. If you have any questions for us, let me know in the comments, because I want to talk about it. Had a whole staff ready and screwed them. Facts. He could take Carolina from 5 wins to double digits. Very, very true. What about questions for me? Do you have any questions for me about Pittsburgh, Hendo? Off the top of the head? I know you weren't ready for that.
Why do y'all suck? Oh, you don't want to answer
Why do we all suck?
Why does Pittsburgh Steelers suck?
Wow.
Can you answer me that question?
Never invited again.
No. I'm sorry. But okay, so realistically, what do you think that your team is going to do this year?
Again, hypothetical ifs. It is what it is. That's football. It all depends on the quarterback play. I think if our quarterback doesn't play well, I feel we'll finish maybe 6-11 if our quarterback don't play well at all. Like, they play bad. Like, if the way people are talking about Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett, Jose, small hands, things like that. If Pittsburgh quarterbacks do not play well, I'm talking about bottom falls out, I think they're still 6-11. They still have a good running back. They have a decent wide receiver core, and the defense is going to keep them in the games.
So I know that you are a Pittsburgh Steelers hater, and you just don't like that team at all, and you just talk bad of them at every turn. So I say to you this: the last 2 years, Ben Roethlisberger has not played well at all, and you still managed to make the playoffs. You're telling me between these 3 quarterbacks, they can't give you more than what Ben gave you?
The way people are talking about Mitch,
I'm not asking about the way people talk. I'm asking.
Well, hold up. Let me explain. I think he's gonna play good.
Okay.
I think he's gonna play good, but the way people are speaking about Mitch, as if he is the second coming of Jamarcus Russell, that could be worst case scenario. And again, and I see Brodney's comment. As bad as Ben played, he showed up and played. You were never concerned if Ben was going to show up and play.
Mm-hmm.
It was if can his arm do what he needs him to do. I think Mitch is going to show up and play pretty good. And if not Kenny, I think Kenny could take over. But the way people are talking about him now, and that's my low point. My high point is I think they could finish 11-6. Remember a couple years ago, I remember y'all were killing me. This is when I first started hanging out with you guys, and Pittsburgh was 12-0. Now we'll sit here and Bronny will throw shade at me and be like, "Well, they didn't play anybody. They played who was played in front of them."
Right, facts.
At the end of the day, they're still 12-0. They got in the playoffs and then they lost to Cleveland. Thank you for reminding me. But if Mitch can or Kenny can do just a tiny more than Ben, what he was doing, and not making so many mistakes, they're a playoff team. And I think they're a decent playoff team. because they have the defense, they have the run game, because that's what's important come playoff time. Defense and running. Um, unless you're playing the freaking Kansas City Chiefs and you got to score 45 points.
Right.
But if they can do something with that throwing game, then then I believe he left out 5. They lost before the playoffs. Shut up, Rodney. I think they're a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tomlin, as good as a coach he is he's going to keep them above 500.
Right.
It's those games, because one thing that the Steelers always have problem with is we always play down to our competition. So if you're looking at the schedule, we play the Jets. That should be a win for us. Miami should be a win for us. Eagles, possibly a win for us. The Panthers.
Right.
Like there's win. The Browns. Until they get Deshaun Watson, that should be a win for us. But for some reason, then we'll show up and beat the Bills, or we'll
True.
show up and we'll beat Cincinnati. We didn't beat them last year, but we'll beat a good team. And like we have the Falcons. That's winnable games. And for some reason, we tie the Detroit Lions, or we'll lose to a team that has a backup. To the Washington no names when they were the no names.
Right.
We were 12-0, and then we all of a sudden we lose to Washington on a Monday night. So it's if we can we need to stop playing down to our competition. But I will give Tomlin will keep us above 500. But he's going to have to get a lot. He's going to have to depend on Najee a lot. He's going to have to depend on the defense. And if the quarterback can give equal or better play than what Ben did for the last 2 years,
mm-hmm.
and keep it consistent, then I think we're a playoff team, and we could be a team to be reckoned with. But it all falls on that quarterback. It's just that quarterback position right now is one of, like I said, I don't think Pittsburgh was ever ready for Ben to retire. They could have done things to get ready for it. Even though Ben didn't want to leave, you still could have done things. You still could have drafted players. You still could have done things. And now they're in the spot where they drafted a Pickett, which is who they wanted, and they signed Mitch.
Right.
But I still feel I just don't think they feel comfortable.
Sure.
I think they just don't know.
Well, you can trade one of your quarterbacks to Carolina, so Weezy can know what it's like to have a quarterback on the team.
Well, they have Baker to save Mayfield. What are you talking about?
No, he said in the comments. He said, "Tell him how Pickett looks, so Carolina fans will know what a QB looks like." I mean, the man throws more shade, but his team isn't winning. Like, bruh, stop it. Stop it.
Shout out to Shatter. They talk about Mitch like he's Nate Peterson.
Oh no, he's not.
Yo, Colin looks really looks different. Hey, he, shout out to Ferris Matana.
What's up, Ferris?
Thank you for coming by. So yeah, I think that's where we're at as far as the Steelers. I think we're gonna try. I think we're gonna play our hearts out every game. I'm not worried about that. I want to see the impact of Brian Flores on this defensive team, because I saw that. I'm not bringing that comment up.
Hey, put that comment up.
No.
Can I put it up?
No, I am going to ban Bronny. You did well because you're talking baseball. What are you going to talk about?
Right. He hit the
Baseball.
ball. He struck out. It's over. Even the fans left before the game was over. What do you want?
Yeah, we're playing Detroit this week. This weekend, I think. Just figure out your quarterback situation, figure out that line, and then we got the Bengals right off the bat. It's gonna be a tough game.
Ooh.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to win that game. Like, if we win that game, expect me to be hyped and coming in and talk about we're gonna win the Super Bowl. Wow, just unsubscribed. I mean, from both of us or just me?
You.
I was joking. Geez, were you Rodney? Were you joking?
Listen, if you beat Cincinnati week 1, you get bragging rights. You're 1-0 in the division. Like, it gives you a leg up. Like, and it starts off the tiebreaker. So if you win, Hey, so be it. Oh, hold up.
No, I think Ferris. I think you're completely wrong. He is going to have a huge impact on Miles Jack, Bush, that linebacking core. I think they are from hearing them talk, hearing them prep, hearing things like that. I think they're going to make a huge difference because one of our weaknesses was bad tackling by our middle linebackers last year.
So
Bad
should I
tackling.
mean so first, so you're telling me that you have this upper echelon defensive coordinator on your team with all this knowledge, and you don't think that their defensive coordinator isn't going to lean on him for advice, situational awareness? Like you think he's just gonna be like, you the linebackers coach, just stay with the linebackers and not listen, he's overqualified for the job. They're not just gonna have him coaching linebackers. He's gonna give his input onto this defense.
Yeah, I think for sure they are. And there might be a. I don't think they would do it, but imagine if they switch him to defense coordinator. You know, so we don't know.
Right.
We don't know. Hold on one second. My daughter is yelling in the back.
Dante Scarnecchia.
So
Yeah.
all right. So anything else you want to talk about? And if you have any questions, put them in the chat. We'll talk about it. We got a couple more minutes. Do you have any questions for me and Hendo? You want to? And don't be stupid, Rodney. Okay, don't put stupid questions in there. Yes, I'm talking to you, Rodney. Okay. Um, do you have any questions? Let me know.
Um,
Zero is coming when the Ravens play Pitt.
Let's so bring up first. He can lean on him, but we're assuming Terrell Austin will lean on him. How much do we know about Austin's coaching style? We know a lot about Austin's coaching style because he used to be the defensive backs coach of the Ravens. He was the defensive coordinator at Detroit. We know a lot about him first. Like, you're not the only one that knows football. Like he hasn't been a defensive coordinator that long. So yes, is he highly super experienced? No, he's not. And you have somebody that knows a little bit more than you. You lean into him and say, "Listen, what would you do? What scheme would you put in?" Like, stop first. Don't like stop. Not at the end.
And Rodney, you asked. I know what questions you're going to try to ask. Okay, I never said. Have you ever asked a stupid? I ask stupid questions all the time.
Wow.
I ask stupid questions all the time.
Wow.
So, you know, I ask stupid questions all the time. But I know what you're going to do. Don't do it. Okay, Rodney?
Not bad first. I just for some reason when you put a question in the chat first, I just picture you saying it in a certain way. That's why I get aggressive because I just figure you're talking to me aggressively through chat. That's the only reason. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Ferris is very aggressive when he talks.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
And when he types, he's very aggressive.
Like how much do we know about his coaching style, Tony? Like, I just figured.
And that's exactly how he said it too.
I'm
like
sure
when he was typing it, that's how he said it. That's how he said it. See, like this is I can't ask a question.
Of course. Listen, first, you can ask any question you want, but like I said, I just imagine you were talking to me aggressively. I apologize, and I'm not profiling anyone, Rodney. We know how you are.
He's gonna send you a mile reason why how he sends messages. And
Right.
I mean, I do loss prevention. That's what I do is I profile people.
We're not going there. Not tonight. Not tonight. It's Monday Night
Not
Football. We're not going there.
This is discrimination. No, this ain't discrimination. This is not
We have
discrimination.
we have video proof first of how you talk to people. Video proof. I can go back and record it and show it anytime. So let's not act like what I'm saying is false.
Yeah. Let's actually there's a lot of video proof of Ferris how he talks to people. Do we need to bring up when he was talking Kalukigawa or when he called somebody a trash person or trash player on a live stream while that person was in the live stream? So Ferris, you are aggressive.
Let's not talk about the F you guys. Like, he used to throw that around like hotcakes. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Oh yeah. For no reason either.
No
Just
reason. Like
no
first,
reason.
he's no longer alive. Fuck that guy. Thank
And
you.
we know how Ferris talks to his customers.
Huh? How about that? So listen, it's not discrimination. It's at worst recency bias. We're just going off of recent actions.
Very true. Once again, if you have any questions, where's this proof? Ferris.
Do you really want to go there? Do you really want to go there? Because once again, I will pull up anything you need me to pull up, bro.
Yeah. What are you talking about? I got a ton of stuff.
So first, do I have to go to We Own This City? Do I have to go to your channel? We Own This City. Dr. Dre. Does that ring a bell? Because I have it recorded. I can play it right now if you like.
Show me.
Now you're trolling because you know.
Right. God, I love Ferris to death. Once again, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. We got another 5 minutes, and then we're gonna get out of here. Any of the week 1 games you're looking forward to other than the Ravens game?
Yes, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. I need to see what the competition looks like.
What are you hoping for? Are you hoping Cincinnati just blows us out?
I'm hoping for a tie.
Pittsburgh can do that for you for some damn
Pittsburgh loves tying game.
love tie games.
I don't. So it's one of those situations where I don't care who wins. I just need to see what it's going to look like. I think it's going to be a good test for Cincinnati's new offensive line because they got T.J. Watt, Hayward. They have some people that I need to see can this offensive line block, and it's going to give an indicator of okay, can Owe, can Jones, can our guys actually get up there and pressure Joe Burrow? Now, you know what? I take that back. I lied. I'm sorry. I lied. I take that back. I hope Joe Burrow throws for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns because he's on my fantasy team. He's on my fantasy team.
Yeah, no.
I hope T Higgins gets all 6 of those touchdowns and 450 of those yards.
Rodney asking a very nice question. Hendo, how do you feel about the Ravens being interested in Andy Isabella? Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
For the first time in my life.
In all honesty, I didn't know that they were interested in Isabella. I have no feelings whatsoever. I'm numb to the fact the Ravens seem to be interested in a lot of people. We never sign anybody, but the interest seems to always be there. Will he come in and make a difference? I'm not sure because once again, we run into that situation of you come from a passing offense and you couldn't do anything. What do you want? What do you want to do here? I mean, if he's a good blocker, bring it on. We need more wide receivers that can block.
Chase, does Ferris have Chase?
Yes, he has. He does. He won't trade him to me. I don't know why.
Ravens are going to pick up Kenyon.
Kenyon Drake. So Kenyon Drake does look like he's going to be cut. Are we going to pick him up? I'm not sure. Listen, running back is just a room that's overcrowded right now. I don't think that we need a room full of mid. Like we don't need a room full of average players. We have enough of them. For Kenyon Drake, we might as well just keep Justice Hill. It's no point in bringing a dude in. Like if you can't make it as a committee back in Las Vegas, don't come here. Don't bring him here. Don't waste the money.
I mean, nobody can make it in Las Vegas.
True. So what is this? So is this the throw shade at the Ravens time or something? Now listen. So yes, nobody can block. And Bronny, I'm not saying that Kenyon isn't better than Justice. I'm just saying, what is the point of bringing him in? Justice Hill is not going to play this year. Kenyon will come to the team and not play this year. So it just doesn't make sense to bring him in just to bring him in.
Like, let me ask you. I have a question for you, Hendo. Does this preseason 22 straight games mean anything?
Did the season games mean anything?
No, the 22 game winning streak that the Ravens are on the preseason doesn't mean anything.
Yes,
Raven fans are like.
Yeah, so I think I answered this yesterday. So it doesn't. So to me, it doesn't mean as much as it's something that you can walk around and people are like, look, we didn't won 23 games in a row, or we're going for 23 games in a row. Like it, it just shows a winning culture to the younger players. It shows a winning culture to people that we brought over from losing teams. It shows them how to win. It shows them how to do before a win, after a win, during a win. It just brings that culture and it breeds confidence. Most athletes need confidence when they play. If you're losing, you have that losing mentality. When you win, you have a winning mentality. And hopefully it carries over into the season and propels us to do greater things than we would normally do. But as far as overall, yes, we won 23 preseason games. No, it's not really that much of an accomplishment because it gets us nothing. There is no preseason title.
Well, maybe that's why the Giants don't have a winning culture.
We have we have Tyler Beatty, Brodney. He can catch out of the backfield. And you are factually correct. The Lions went undefeated in the preseason, then went 0-16.
Yeah,
Factually correct.
I don't know. I just see I see a lot of Ravens fans tweeting about it.
So it like you've spent enough time around Ravens fans to know most Ravens fans look for any justification of things. They look for anything that they can kind of hype up to say, listen, this is why John Harbaugh's the head coach. Look at how prepared we are for the preseason.
Yeah,
Look, we should have drafted this guy. Look at how well he looks in the preseason. Like, I guess people don't remember Tim White and certain people like that. Like, they killed it during training camp in the preseason. Then when the season came up, we got nothing out of it. So it's just something for us to kind of hold our hat onto, and it means nothing. You know, we have to justify every move that we make because a lot of Ravens fans know that some of the moves that we're making aren't right. But we got to pump it up anyway because I drink that purple Kool-Aid. It gets me purple high and it gets me by. So that's what they do.
gotcha.
We're having the Tim Williams. He wasn't motivated to play. Like he had character issues, which I hoped he could get past. He just wasn't driven enough because he came in with Bowser, and I really like Tim Williams more than I like Tyus Bowser. And I thought Tim Williams was going to be that dude. Like I was like, listen, we got the pass rusher we need, and he just didn't do it.
And then Bronny's talking to Mr. J now. Um, so yeah, I think we've gone for about an hour 50. I think it's time. I think I told you 1:30. We still went 20 minutes over. So I think about that time, Mr. Hendo.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Hendo, so
Uh-huh.
you do a show every Saturday or Sunday, or
Sunday.
you're gonna start doing every Saturday, Sunday, right?
No, it's every Sunday.
And I heard Friday from Brian. You told me you're gonna do 3 shows a week now.
So that is factually incorrect. I will do one show a week, which is going to be Sunday after the Ravens game, which will probably be Sundays at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I haven't decided yet.
Eastern or Pacific time.
Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. And where can those people find you to watch that lovely show of yours?
They can find me on Ravens online on Gatekeepers on YouTube. You can find me at our Gatekeepers on Twitter and Instagram. And if you really want to get funky with it, you can find me at Ravens on Gatekeepers on Facebook.
No, I don't. I don't want you to follow me on Facebook.
All right, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't want you knowing my real. I really don't want you knowing anything personal about me.
I know your real name.
No, I said personal.
I
I
do
know you know my name
I
because
know
your middle name is my first name.
I know personal things
It's the
about
ugly
you.
version. It's the ugly version. Of
I know personal things about you, Dick.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right, Dicko.
Oh, what?
You know why I'm calling you that.
I know.
But you can find all of Hendo's information in the description. Make sure to go follow him. He is one of the best podcasts out there. Look at I love his podcast. He's great at talking. Obviously, you just seen us do it for an hour and 50 minutes. Again, I'm not a Ravens fan, but I love listening to Hendo talk because I learned a lot from Hendo.
So listen, so the thing is, I think is that you being a Steelers fan and me being a Ravens fan, we don't sit there and try to talk up a bunch of nonsense. Like if it's something wrong with our team, we have no problem with saying it's something wrong with our team. If
Yeah.
I feel like your team is better, I'll be like, listen, right now the Steelers are better, and vice versa. I think that's why we get along, and I think that you don't have a problem with me or anybody else in the group because we have no problem with speaking our truth, so to speak.
I mean, have you met Ferris? Have you met Bronny?
Bradley's very, very straight coming about his forthcoming about his team. Ferris is delusional, but Ferris will let you know his team stink.
Yeah, I know, but you know the one thing about Ferris is he's beating men off the line consistently, and you know which is a good thing sometimes. You never know.
No, no,
I mean, don't you want somebody who can beat guys off the line?
no, I don't.
You don't want anybody on the Ravens that can do that?
No, I
Okay.
don't. That's their personal business.
Wow, I didn't know. Okay, hey,
I
we'll
don't
leave
need.
it there.
I don't need to know.
Okay, we'll leave it there. But yeah, you have your show on Sundays. I really enjoy it. If you're a Ravens fan, make sure to follow Hendo. Most of you guys are that are in here, but if you're new to the channel, please follow Hendo because it's great. He's a great listen, very football knowledgeable, and speaks about the Ravens in a very very even kill, which is what I like. He's not overly high, and he's not underly low on me. I like the way he talks. So
No,
make
thank you,
sure. Yeah, I do.
and thank you for having me. I really do appreciate this.
I thank you for coming on. I know I hit you up at the last minute. I know you got to go to work tomorrow, so it's pretty late. I think it's about what 11 o'clock in Maryland right now, Baltimore, wherever you
Yeah,
live.
10:59.
So I'm sorry for keeping you up so late.
That's stay up this late anyway.
There you go. So it worked out, but I appreciate you coming on because I always love talking to you, and it's always an honor to talk to you. And you can see Hendo in the chat when we do the show every Monday. It's going to be 6 p.m. until the season starts. Once the season starts, it'll be 7 p.m. Pacific time. So it'll be after. I'm pretty sure after the Monday night games, we'll try to go live. We're not going to talk too much about Monday night games unless it's Steelers or Ravens. But we're gonna be. We'll talk a little bit about it.
Thank you,
On what
thank you,
happens.
Mr. J. I appreciate that.
Mr. James. Yeah, he very much is. I have loved talking to the head about football, and especially because it's the Ravens and Steelers.
Well, listen, maybe hopefully one day when you and Colin are doing the show, I can come on.
Maybe we could do that. We could definitely do that. Maybe I need because I don't have any Steeler friends, so I can't
because you love the Ravens.
I don't love the Ravens. Stop saying that, okay? Like you're giving me a bad rep. Like
and you didn't even get upset about it, so you know.
I did internally. I got upset.
What you mean, Mr. J? What?
That ain't happening. Y'all see some. Y'all need. So Mr. Shattertime here is a Patriots fan.
I don't do. So okay, do you really want that smoke? You really want that smoke? Like, listen. I used to be a Patriots fan. I used to love the Patriots, especially with Drew Bledsoe. But Mac Jones, yeah, I'm an old man. Mac Jones ain't it. Like y'all can keep hyping him up and showing his workouts. Mac Jones ain't it. But bring him on, bring me on. It is what it is. We could just have a roundtable about football in itself. Like you could, like if you would like to, we could do a week one stream about the upcoming season.
I'm not putting your comment up, Jose.
Put Jose's comment up. Don't skip over it.
About the Pats now because we ain't good here anymore. I mean, you ain't lying.
You're not gonna put Jose's comment up?
He didn't pay for it. Hey, I'll say this: you get the first troll's free. The second one's gonna cost you. Stream elements up top. Shout out to Lunch Break Hot Take for that one.
Wow.
So if you're new here, you like what you're hearing, make sure to follow my co-host. Colin is not available today, but he will be back next Monday. I will be back. Sorry, I'm wearing a tank top, but it's hot as hell in California. I was sweating my ass off, so I didn't want to wear a jersey. But once the season starts, I'll be geared up as much as I can. Copyright infringement.
That's what it is. Copyright infringement.
No, it's not.
First troll's free. You got to pay for anything else.
Rodney, stop it. Yeah, and make sure to follow me, Suge Knight 323 at TikTok and Twitter. TikTok, I just do stupid videos, usually about Magic or whatever I want to talk about. It Twitter, I'm usually just tweeting nonsense about whatever I want to complain about that day. And you can follow me at Suge Knight 1323 on Twitch, where I play Magic tournaments, play some Apex, play some. You loved it. Play some Skyrim. Just video game. I'm not good at it, but I love doing it because it gives me joy in my life.
For some reason, I don't like that word, Skyrim. I don't like.
You don't like it?
I don't like that word for some reason. Skyrim. Oh, what does that say?
Rodney.
You have to read it. You have to read it.
Well, he didn't say anything. Oh,
it does. It's at the bottom. It's at the. I can see that.
Hold up.
You have to read it.
Still conspiracy, best new show going. Get the hell out of here, Rodney, with that crap, you mother lover. Let me know if you guys heard that sound. I just did the.
I did not.
I did not. You did.
I didn't hear it. But I did not hear
it. Jose, Bronny, or anybody in the chat, did you guys hear the sound when it went off? Let me know. I worked on that today, so let me know. You didn't hear anything? Okay, then I got to work on it. Damn. But it is what it is. I didn't hear anything. God darn it. Okay. No, don't good. You saw the picture though, right? You all saw the picture?
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay. Well,
it said still conspiracy coming soon to a stream near you.
Well, we'll see about that.
So you should do a poll. I'm sorry. You should do a poll.
This isn't your channel, okay? Don't tell me what to do.
I'm not. It's a suggestion. You should do a poll on which name people like best.
This isn't lunch break hot take. You can't make me do things I don't want to do.
I just asked the question.
There ain't no Patreon.
Bro, I just asked the question, bro. I'm gonna do a poll then. Listen, I'll do a poll myself.
A group of Ravens being called for is fitting for Ravens fans because most of them.
So what do you call a New York sports fan? A lunatic. Because you do the same thing over and over, hoping for a different outcome. Oh, look at him. He's leading all-star votes. Oh man, draft lottery again. First, get out of here with that bull.
Ferris is gonna message you in the Discord. So yeah, I wanted to get out of here now. Yeah, so make sure script or something. Ferris is taking shots for watch. I bet you $1 right now. Ferris is gonna go, who the hell are you? Shatter. Watch that message is coming.
That's right.
Ferris.
Insanity. Y'all are insane fans. Giants fans and all. Listen, second preseason game, y'all got Danny Dimes going in the second quarter. Because he ain't it. And y'all know it.
Hendo, once again, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out. Make sure Hendo's information is in the description. Mine's in the description. Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out. Appreciate all of you. Have a good night. Be safe. And once again,
you just shook up the world. How's that feel?